I'm going to demonstrate how having multiple monitors or displays on a PC works. Click the annotations on screen or use the links in the video description to skip to later chapters. Chapter 1 will be how to set it up. Chapter 2 will explain how you control both monitors. In Chapter 3 I'll go through how it works with gaming, and Chapter 4 will briefly show how multi-monitor setups can be useful. How to set it up. You can have 2 or 3 monitors, or even more, all connected to one computer. Your graphics card must support multiple monitors, which is usually the case with most modern computers and laptops. Your computer should have one or more of these ports: DisplayPort, HDMI, DVI, VGA, or Thunderbolt. If you have a laptop, you can usually output to your laptop display and an additional monitor for dual monitors. To set it up, simply connect your monitors to the graphics card. You can use a combination of different interfaces, for example one monitor plugged into HDMI and another plugged into DisplayPort. You can also use a combination of monitors. They don't need to be the same monitor. They can be different brands, sizes, resolutions, or refresh rates. Make sure your graphics drivers are up to date. I suggest Googling to find your latest drivers. After plugging everything in, if the new monitors don't display anything automatically, just go to your display settings. Right-click your desktop and go to Display Settings. Here I'm demonstrating Windows 10, but it's similar for Windows XP and onwards, and probably for other OSs too, like Apple Macs. Here you can set what you want the other monitors to do, such as duplicate or clone a display, where multiple monitors display the same thing, or extend the desktop to give you extra screen real estate. Or you can disable a display. In my setup I have 2 PC monitors and also a TV connected, which is on the other side of the room. I have the TV disabled unless I want to use it for movies or gaming. You can also adjust the size of text, apps, and other items on each monitor with newer versions of Windows. This is particularly useful when you're using displays with very high pixel density, where text and icons can be really small by default. Lower-end graphics cards, such as onboard graphics cards and laptops, may only be able to support 1 or 2 monitors. Higher-end graphics cards can support 3 or more displays. Technology such as AMD's iFinity can merge lots of displays together to form one huge display. Note that some graphics cards using DisplayPort or Mini DisplayPort may require an active adapter to utilize a third display. I won't go into detail here, so I suggest you Google active display adapters to learn more if you're having trouble getting your third monitor to work. So how do you control it? You use one keyboard and mouse to control it all, and your computer will simply treat it as if it's one large desktop. Here you can see how I can easily move windows or programs from one screen to another. If I press print screen on my keyboard to take a screenshot, I can paste this into Paint or Photoshop, and you can see how my computer treats the 2 displays. It's as if it's one big desktop. I can maximize a window to one monitor easily, and newer versions of Windows also let me easily cascade a window to each half of a display by dragging the title bar to the edges of the display. I can position my Start menu wherever I like it. And if I right-click and go to Properties, I can set it to show on all displays or just one. My keyboard and mouse respond to whichever application is active. If I click Notepad, typing on the keyboard will enter there. I can move my mouse over and select Word and type here, just the same as if I was using one display. Pressing the Windows key or using Alt-Tab combos works as normal. How do games work? On your display settings, you'll notice that you can specify a main display. Most games will open up on this main display. However, with some, you can use in-game video settings to specify where the game will display. And in very rare cases, you can utilize multiple monitors for the game, such as in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and here I'm testing out Grid Autosport. In Microsoft Windows, there's always an active window. This is where your keyboard input will go, as we saw before when typing in Word. Similarly, when a game is active, keyboard input will go into that game. Games will usually lock your mouse movement to their window to avoid you clicking somewhere else whilst gaming. For example, when you're turning in a first-person shooter, your cursor won't unintentionally move to another screen and click something. In some instances, when you're using a cursor within games, such as in the in-game menus or in RTS games, developers set it so the mouse cursor is not locked within the game. This is just so you can switch between monitors easily, as there is no danger of the mouse cursor accidentally moving to another screen. If the cursor is locked to the game, you can free up your mouse and move it to another application by either pressing Alt-Tab to switch to a different application, or the Windows key to open the Start menu, which will set your desktop to the active window. This will usually minimize your game. This is because the game is a full screen application, and that's just the way Windows works. However, games can be run in windowed mode to avoid this. Modern games may even allow you to make the game run in a borderless window. This will get rid of the borders around the game. You can then set the resolution to match your display, and it will appear the same as a full-screen game, but without minimizing when you Alt-Tab. Note that if a game is not the active window, your processor may devote less power to it, and frame rate may drop until you make it the active window again. A frequently asked question is, will using multiple monitors lower my FPS? The answer in short is no. Your graphics card uses a lot of power to do complex rendering for visually intensive games, and uses very little power to refresh your desktop. The extra monitor or monitors displaying your desktop will not use much graphics power. In fact, even with one monitor, your graphics card will still use power to process what the desktop should look like, even though it's hidden behind the game. So having 2 or more monitors isn't adding much. However, if you use the other monitor to do graphically intensive stuff, such as extending the game, you will see a drop in FPS, as your graphics card is doing more work. This is the same even if you have one monitor. If you run 2 games at the same time, your graphics card will use processing power to render both, even if you can't actually see one of them. And again, your computer will usually devote more power to the active window. What else can I do with multiple monitors? Multi-monitor setups are extremely useful. With one large monitor, you can use the extra screen real estate to get more vital space in programs like Photoshop and video editing software. With an extra monitor, you can display other things such as work plans, your music, your email, whatever you want. You can use one screen to watch something whilst working on the other, or be more productive by using all your monitors to display different documents to make working more efficient. When playing a game, you could utilize your other monitor to display your Steam friends list, Ventrilo or TeamSpeak, temperature monitors or chats. You could also use it to display a game guide or YouTube video. Another bonus is you can Alt-Tab during loading screens and other boring bits in games, and browse the web whilst you wait. If you're a streamer, it's invaluable, as you can put your streaming software like OBS or your Twitch chat on one monitor, whilst gaming full screen on another monitor. There's very little software that can use both screens at once, but when it can, it's very helpful. For example, video editing software can show your editing timeline on one screen, and a video preview on another screen. Games can display the game world on one screen, and a map or scoreboard on another. Some PC games can even use multiple monitors for local multiplayer, where each player gets their own screen instead of one screen being divided up. I've touched on the basics of multiple monitors, but there's a load of other stuff you can do. Third-party applications can allow you to do extra stuff, such as set different desktop backgrounds on each monitor. You can get apps on your tablet that allow your tablet to act as an extra display, even wirelessly. And you can use things like AMD's Eyefinity to create multi-panel display groups to make one huge display. Basically, if you're wondering if multi-monitors can do something that I've not shown, I'd suggest Googling it.